ADRE and its regulation. In the previous lesson, you learned how state agencies, such as the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, interpret and enforce the rules found in the Arizona Administrative Code, AAC. Now we focus specifically on what the ADRE regulates. Title 4, Chapter 28 of the AAC, the section known as the Commissioner's Rules. These rules are the foundation for day-to-day real estate practice in Arizona. They explain how licensees must perform their duties, how brokers must supervise their agents, and how schools, instructors, and property managers must operate. Understanding Title 4, Chapter 28 is essential for every Arizona licensee. It is not simply a collection of administrative regulations. It is the practical application of the Arizona Revised Statutes, particularly Title 32, Chapter 20th. The ADRE enforces these rules to protect consumers, promote professional conduct, and ensure that the real estate industry operates ethically and efficiently across the state. The structure of Title 4, Chapter 28. The Arizona Administrative Code, AAC, is divided into titles and chapters, similar to the Arizona Revised Statutes. Title 4 covers professions and occupations, and Chapter 28 specifically belongs to the Department of Real Estate. This chapter, often called the Commissioner's Rules, contains detailed regulations governing the conduct, supervision, education, and licensing of all Arizona real estate professionals. The ADRE regulates the following key sections within Title 4. Chapter 28. Article 1. General Provisions defines terms, outlines general requirements, and establishes how rules are applied to licensees. Article 3. Education Requirements covers pre-licensing, continuing education, and real estate school and instructor approval under R4-28-401 to R4-28-404. Article 5. Advertising and Record Keeping provides detailed rules for proper advertising, use of trade names, and retention of transaction records, R4-28-501 through R4-28-802. Article 11, Professional Conduct, establishes ethical and professional standards under R4-28-1101 through R4-28-1103, including honesty, disclosure, and broker supervision obligations. Each of these areas directly ties back to statutes in ARS Title 32, Chapter 20. Together, the statutes and rules form the complete framework of real estate law and regulation in Arizona. The ADRE's role in regulating Title 4, Chapter 28. The Arizona Department of Real Estate is responsible for administering, interpreting, and enforcing all rules contained in Title 4, Chapter 28. This means that the ADRE does not simply monitor compliance. It is actively involved in developing, updating, and applying these rules to ensure consistency with the laws passed by the legislature. Under ARS Section 322107, the Real Estate Commissioner is authorized to adopt rules necessary to carry out the provisions of this chapter. Once adopted, these rules are published in the Arizona Administrative Code and become binding on all real estate licensees. The ADRE enforces these rules through several key functions. 1. Education oversight. The ADRE regulates pre-licensing and continuing education under Article 3 of the Commissioner's Rules. It approves real estate schools and instructors. It sets standards for course content and examinations. It ensures that licensees complete required education hours before license renewal. For example, R4-28-401 outlines the pre-licensure education requirement and mandates that schools follow a prescribed curriculum and testing standard approved by the ADRE. 2. Licensing and compliance. The ADRE enforces all licensing requirements and conducts audits to ensure brokers and salespersons comply with Article 11, Professional Conduct, and Article 8, Record Keeping. For instance, R4 28 1101 requires honesty, fairness, and disclosure of material facts. R4 28 1103 mandates broker supervision over all agents, records, and trust accounts. If a licensee violates these rules, the ADRE may investigate and discipline under ARS Section 322153. 3. Advertising Regulation. Under Article 5, the ADRE regulates all forms of advertising to ensure they are truthful and not misleading. R4 28 502E requires clear identification of the employing broker's name in all advertising. R4 28 502F prohibits misleading or deceptive claims in marketing materials. This means that whether an advertisement appears on a billboard, a website, or social media, it must comply with the Commissioner's rules to avoid disciplinary action. Fourth, property management oversight. Under ARS Section Article 3.1, the ADRE regulates property management activities, including trust account operations and record-keeping requirements. Violations can result in administrative penalties, trust account audits, or license suspension. Example in practice. Consider a scenario in which a salesperson creates a website advertising homes for sale, but fails to display their employing broker's name, as required under R4 28 502E. The ADRE, after receiving a complaint, investigates and determines that the advertisement violates Title 4, Chapter 28. The salesperson may be fined or placed on probation, and their broker may also face penalties for lack of supervision under R4 28 1103A. This example demonstrates how the ADRE enforces compliance with the Commissioner's rules and ensures that licensees uphold transparency and accountability in all communications with the public. How the ADRE updates and interprets the rules. The ADRE regularly reviews its rules to ensure they align with current industry practices and technological advancements. When updates are needed, the department follows the rule-making procedures outlined in ARS Title 41, Article 3 through Article 5, which include public notice, stakeholder feedback, and review by the Governor's Regulatory Review Council, GRRC. For instance, in recent years, the ADRE has updated sections of Title 4, Chapter 28, to reflect the use of electronic signatures and digital records, ensuring that modern real estate practices remain legally compliant. Through policy statements and bulletins, the ADRE also provides interpretation and clarification of rules, helping licensees understand how to apply them in practice. These interpretations hold significant weight because they reflect the agency's official enforcement position. Review Summary. In this module, you learn that the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, regulates Title 4, Chapter 28 of the Arizona Administrative Code, commonly known as the Commissioner's Rules. These rules provide the operational and ethical framework for real estate professionals in Arizona. Key takeaways include Title 4. Chapter 28 of the AAC contains the ADRE's official rules for education, conduct, advertising, property management, and supervision. The ADRE enforces these rules through audits, investigations, compliance actions, and education oversight. The Real Estate Commissioner, under ARS Section 322107, has authority to adopt, interpret, and enforce these rules. Title 4, Chapter 28 ensures that all licensees follow consistent professional and ethical standards to protect the public and maintain industry integrity. Understanding the relationship between the Arizona Revised Statutes, Title 32 and Chapter 20, and the Arizona Administrative Code, Title 4, Chapter 28, is essential for every licensee. The first provides the law, and the second provides the blueprint for putting that law into practice. Discussion 1. What section of the Arizona Administrative Code does the ADRE regulate? Answer. Title 4, Chapter 28, known as the Commissioner's Rules. 2. What is the main purpose of Title 4, Chapter 28? Answer. To establish the rules that govern real estate licensees, brokers, schools, and property managers in Arizona. 3. Which statute authorizes the ADRE and Commissioner to adopt and enforce rules? Answer. ARS Section 32-2107. 4. What are some areas covered by Title 4, Chapter 28? Answer. Professional conduct, education requirements, advertising, record keeping, property management, and broker supervision. 5. How does the ADRE ensure that the rules remain relevant? Answer. By periodically reviewing, updating, and interpreting rules through the public rulemaking process and policy statements. Closing remarks. Title 4, Chapter 28 of the Arizona Administrative Code represents the operational heart of Arizona real estate regulation. It transforms the legislative mandates of Title 32, Chapter 20, into the detailed rules that guide every aspect of a licensee's professional life. Through its enforcement, interpretation, and oversight, the Arizona Department of Real Estate ensures that all real estate professionals act with integrity, competence, and transparency. As you continue through this course, remember that compliance with Title 4, Chapter 28 is not optional. It is the foundation of professional success and public trust in Arizona's real estate industry. In the next chapter, we will explore how Arizona case law further influences and interprets these statutes and rules through judicial decisions that shape real estate practice across the state.